Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cal-K. Today we're doing something special, and not special because it's a lifelong goal, because I just found out about how fun these fish are, but special because I just found out how fun these fish are. I'm a bass fisherman at heart. I understand bass a little bit, a lot better than trout. But today I'm going to try to catch my first fish on a center pin. I got my good buddy Taylor Spraungel with me, who is, according to me, a trout expert, which, you know, compared to me, he's pretty damn good, and I think he's pretty good overall. So hopefully he'll be able to help out that, and I think along the way he'll be giving a bunch of good tips on how to center pin. And I hope this video will be perfect for the guy learning how to center pin, can take some tips from what he'll be teaching me, and it'll be good for the expert who might want to learn some new stuff that they, you know, don't already know yet about center pinning. Taylor has a bunch of great insight on how to catch these trout, how to really be a better center pinner. Is that a term I just made up? I don't know. You don't throw a frog on 50-pound braid on a super heavy rod for trout, so I don't really understand what's going on or what. But yeah, so pretty cool. I'm hoping it's gonna be really cool. So stick around, stay tuned, and let's see if we can get this dumb bass guy on a center pin trout.
So what I'm using today, we're actually center pinning. Center pin reveal.
I guess.
Alright, well I just caught one, so there's clearly still more fish here, and we're going to give the pin to Cal and see if he can't make magic happen.
How bad do you think I'm going to fail?
Once you get it out, it's getting it out there. Once you get it out there, it's easy.
So probably pretty bad. Alright, got it.
Alright, well Cal is failing. We're going to make sure that we've got documented evidence
like a
of this.
1-to-1 gear ratio?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's still spinning, by the way. So the reason why this spot is good is there's a bunch of riffles down below us, and this is deep, but there's current through here, and there's good hard bottom. So that's a lot of what the fish are going to eat are going to be on that hard bottom. And there's enough room for a lot of fish in here. Try it just a little bit. If it's spinning a little bit fast, just barely wrap your finger on the spool of the reel. Yeah, let it go until you can't see it anymore. That's the whole point of the center pin. Down. Hooked up, baby.
Did it. Oh.
If he pulls, you gotta let it slip with your fingers. Cal's hooked up. I'll grab the net. I'm invincible, dude. The cameraman and the net man never die. Okay, pick the rod straight up. You can pull more on that rod than you think because it's such a light rod. There you go, dude.
That's so fun.
Clamp the reel down. Now flip that switch on the other side. Turn that knob. Only turns one way. Other way. The clicker's on. There you go. Well,
so
walk
sick.
me through that.
I don't know. I really don't know what to say. What is this?
Center pin.
A center pin.
Yeah.
Okay, so completely foreign to me. If you guys have watched any of the footage from this video or last video, I've been using a spinning reel the whole time. And man, even just the physics of it all makes no sense to me. But that bite and then the first hook set, it just feels like nothing you felt before. Like, it's such a weird feeling. And like dealing with a 1-to-1 gear ratio reel, it just feels so much sportier than all this like high-tech stuff. Like, obviously it's expensive, there's a bunch of technology gone into it, but like the 1-to-1, well, we'll let that one go.
Self-releasing fish. Well, definitely gets you the fight and the fish.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's sick.
So basically what we're fishing here, it's just a deep hole with a main seam. I'm casting my rig out to the other side of the seam, and I'm basically just slowly dragging it until it hits the main current. Once that hits the main current, I'm letting the reel do a lot of just free spinning, but I'm also every once in a while checking it, which means I'm slowing the reel with my fingers. And what that's going to do is that float is going to ride pointed upstream, and my bait, oh, there was just a fish, and my bait is going to ride downstream. So if the current is moving in this direction, my rig is underwater like this. And that's backwards to what we're taught in fly fishing. You're taught that if the current is moving this way, you want it like this, so when the fish grabs it, it pulls it under. But that's why I have the shot line. So basically what the shot line is doing is it's keeping my line straight underneath there, and I'm not actually dredging the bottom. I'm fishing just above the bottom, so the fish are coming up off the bottom to grab the bait, and in return, it pulls my float down every time. So you don't usually get bit right away in the drift because it takes time for everything to set up. But all of our fish have been, you know, kind of in what I would say the heart of the drift, so everything is setting up. You can adjust depth. I adjust depth quite frequently just to figure out where the fish are feeding at. And you can watch in your float. If you're curious, if you're deep enough, you can let the float go on its own. And if you're too deep, your float will actually drag and point downstream because it's basically dragging your bait across the bottom. So then you just kind of keep adjusting up until you find that sweet spot and you hook up. And then when you're fighting these, you're the drag. It's a free spooling reel, so if the fish pulls, you have to release. Another thing that people get really confused by is when they're center pinning is when you get a fish actually in, you have to be careful because there is nothing on that reel. So it'll sit there and spin like that. So you can either turn the clicker on or you can just clamp it down. And I will say, out of all the ways to catch fish, it is one of the most fun. You're using long limber rods, light line, 1-to-1, and you kind of really feel like you're at a equal advantage with the fish when you're battling them. That's the most information I think in your whole channel. Well, making a bit of a hero drift in this hole. Hadn't been really getting much. And that guy popped it at the end of the drift.
I think so.
So there's number 4. After finally deciding that the pink worm was the best way. They've gotten a little bit bigger since switching too. They're all cranking boats. That was convenient. Alright. Spinning the herd. Now we're at. Dude. Cow pies. We're here at the cattle bakery. Just catching more rainbows on the center pin.
All right.
Go. trying to figure out where they were in this hole.
It's a good one.
And apparently they're sitting all the way at the back. It's a tall fish.
This is still the first creek that we stopped at. Well, technically.
Look at that.
Good looking fish, dang. Go. Same deal with the center pin, right?
Yep. Pink worm on a pin. Just letting it drift through the holes. And I thought I was snagged on the bottom. I thought I was in the back of the hole, but I guess not. So what I'm using today, we're actually center pinning. This is a technique that's really popular for fishing for migratory fish like steelhead and salmon and stuff. It's kind of a weird technique. It allows you to fish a float a really long ways away and control the float. This rod, this is actually a custom rod made by Dane Veselka. It's a 10'6" 3-weight fly rod blank float conversion. The reel is a Colville Pinland 3.95. I'm running 8-pound excuse me, I can't even think of what, chromium, my bad. This line's got, it floats super high. It's got a lot of, it's really hard. It's got very little stretch, so when you have a really long drift out there, you can set the hook. As far as my setup, this is just a 3-gram blood run float, and then I have a shot line on the chromium to a swivel, and then a 4-pound leader, and I'm just running a little size 14 hook with a half of a pink trout worm. And you can run whatever you want on this. You can run small spawn bags. I've ran fly nymphs on this and everything, and it's just really cool because you can stand way up in the hole and you can fish the entire hole in one sweep. The casting is a little tricky on these, but once you actually get the float out there, it'll pull the reel, and it'll basically back the line off of the reel, so I can control the float just by putting a little bit of pressure from my finger on there, and that way I can get the float to be upstream and send the bait through first. And then if I get a bite or if I get a fish and the float goes down, all I have to do is push my finger down and set the hook. So it's a lot more effective than fishing it on a spinning rod. Plus, you don't have any line twist. The line comes straight off like a bait caster and is very easily managed. That's a bigger fish, dude. Oh, he's migrating. There you go.
Oh yeah!
Doubled.
Got a good one here though.
Yeah, nice rainbow. He put up quite a fight actually.
I was trying to shoot some B-roll, and then this little guy kind of interrupted a little
Barely
bit.
hooked. Oh yeah.
That's awesome. I thought that was gonna be huge though. It started pulling like it was big.
Dude, that was fun.
That's sick. That's gonna do it for today's episode. Had an absolute blast catching fish on a center pin. I hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys learned something from this. I know I learned more than my brain can possibly process in one day. But it was just so cool. Such a cool experience. If you guys haven't caught trout before, I promise you guys are missing out. I'm sure a lot of guys on my YouTube channel are bass guys, and I love bass too. It's not like I'm not going to go bass fishing anymore. But trout are something else. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you a lot. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. About 80% of you guys aren't subscribed, and I'm really trying to grow this channel into something big. And if there's any advice or anything that you want me to do different, leave it in the comments below. I read every comment because I get about one every video. So appreciate you guys for watching. Calc out.